Hello, in this video I will show you how to exactly build an app which looks like this. I will explain every component of it, including CSS, JavaScript, etc. and how to set up your own Visual Studio Code environment. So this app looks like this. You have header, app name, you have a menu, which is an animation. When you click about, the about page is displaying like this. When you hit home, there was a loading sign and then the home page is loaded. If you click any of the items, it will be directed to the item. If you click app name, it will go to the home page again. And also if you click the image, it will also direct you to the image, to the item page. And at the footer we have a copyright at the bottom, centered, and it also has a border and the color is gray. Okay, so at first you will have to go to the link in the description, copy this my GitHub page, and then go to the Visual Studio Code, click Ctrl+Shift+P and git clone. Then just paste the link, then name it. Then you can download everything, and that way it will work. I won't explain exactly how to do it. You can watch video tutorials. So when everything is working, I will explain. For example, I will start with the footer, which is in the components footer. So first, if you create a component, you have to import React from React function footer, which returns footer class name. I'm using Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS, so in order to install that, you have to type yarn install Tailwind CSS. You have instruction on Tailwind CSS here. So basically it's a shortcut for CSS. If there is a background BG gray 400, for example, you can type this here, and its background color, that's /color, and that's the same. If I type 200 here, Ctrl S, it's a little bit lighter. The text is centered, the text is extra small, padding is 3, its absolute bottom position 0, it takes the full width full, and it has a border tab too. And then there is a copyright sign, and then copyright 2020, and at the bottom you have export the default footer, which is imported in the app.js, import footer from components.footer. Next, we can go to the downloads, because you will have to download a bunch of things. For example, it's everything in the package.json. You will need Axios, auto prefixer, postcli, CLI, router DOM, Tailwind CSS. So basically, you first type yarn install, and then yarn install, for example, Tailwind CSS, etc. Because if you go to the installation, you can, oh sorry, it's yarn add Tailwind, then you have to add those 3 lines to the index CSS like this. Okay, so now let's go to the header. Header is this part. So React, import React from React, import navigation from navigation. I will explain that later. So it's a function header which returns header. Class name, it has a border at the bottom 3, padding is 3 around it. It's a flexible justify between, justify between. Why justify between? This is interesting because when you have something justify between, it's at the start and at the end. And at this particular example, we have app name and also navigation, which is here. So it's at the left and right. If I do justify end, it will be exactly like this. See, app name and then the navigation. If I do justify center, it will be in the center. So justify between is the sensible option, which is like this. So also we have items center, which means they are exactly in the center between top and bottom. You can click, you can quickly look at the Tailwind CSS and look at the examples. So items end, it's at the bottom, items center is in the middle. Okay, and we have a link which is linking us to the home page, because if we go to the about page, if we click the app name, it's a link to the home page again, because this is linked to the home page. And the CSS, it's font bold. If we want to change the font, it can be font extra bold, for example. And now it's extra bold, or we can go normal. And it's normal, but bold looks great. And then the name. So this is basically a link, right? And then we import the navigation. Import navigation from navigation, which is another component, and it's right here, navigation. So let's go to the navigation bar. Navigation is imported from navigation. This is a little bit more complicated, the navigation bar. So I will explain that later. So in this section, I will explain how the navigation function works, which is located here on the website. When I click on it, a menu is displaying like that. It's like a transition, and then the background is showing. So if we look at the code, we have a mask transitions and menu transitions. So if we comment out with Shift Alt A, the make transition, the menu transitions, and also the part of code which is mapping and creating a new object. If we comment this out, and if we save it, then we will have only mask transitions, which is this. So what we are using use transitions and animated from React Spring. So this is located in the package JSON, which is React Spring. So basically, this is a React Spring IO, which you will have to install by npm install React Spring. They have an installation tutorial somewhere. So basically, what you can do, you can use many different array transitions. We are using this one, which is single component reveals, and this is so basically we have a constant array which has a variable and then a function which is changing that, and use state false, which means show menu is false at the beginning, and then we have a constant mask transitions, which in here is transitions, and we use transitions show menu, which is false at the beginning because it's false. It's not true. And then if we go here, from position is absolute, because if we do, for example, a fixed, nothing changes. So it's not really that important. But the most important thing is opacity. So we go from opacity 0, from 0 to 1, as you can see, because the maximum opacity which we can get is from 0 to 1. See, text opacity from 0 to 1. We can go from 0 to 0.5, which looks like this, from 0 to 0.5, and at the leave, so when we leave it, for example, when we click, it's going up to 0. But when we change, for example, from 0 to 0.2 and we leave at 1, then see, it's doing the from 0 to 0.2, and then when we leave, it's going to 1. 1 second, when I click, going from 0 to 0.2, when I click somewhere, it's going to 1 and exiting. So at exit, we can go 0.5, going from 0 opacity to 1, and then exit at half. It was exit half. So I think you understand this. If we go from opacity 1 to 0, so we will go from dark, we'll go from darker to more lighter. It's going very rapidly. So, but the normal transition is like this. Okay, so if we mask this out later, if we mask, if we comment out the mask transition, we'll have only the menu displaying. See, without the mask transition, only menu transitions. So what does it do? So it's translating opacity 0, and we are transforming from x minus 100%, so it's the x is from in the left minus to x 0%. So we're translating x from behind the screen somewhere to 0%, and also we are changing the opacity. For example, if we do minus 50%, see, it's going from here up to here. If we do 10%, translate x minus 10%. So from here to here. 100%, We can also go from 0% to minus 100%, which will look like this. A menu which is just closing. And we can leave at 0%, which will be a little bit strange. Because it's like closing and then opening. But this should enter at 0%, at 0, right? Translate X. And what if we do translate Y? Translate to Y. So now it's like this. I'm kind of enthusiastic about the Y translate because it's from here. It's more natural. Translate Y. Leave enter. Okay, so I will do. And what if I do XY? Does it even work like this? Strange. I will leave it like this. Okay. So what actually we are doing? We use make transitions mapping. So we are taking item, key, and props. So this is a lambda function, which is item and animated div key. Animated div key. So style is props. Style is props. Make transitions map. The key is key, and then class name animated div fixed background color white. Tap 0. Tap 0, left 0, right 0. I would like it from the right side, personally, with 2.5 width, and then height. Yeah, see, I will like a menu like this, because usually menus are on the right side. But if I click somewhere, it should change, but it doesn't. So it's right with height full Z50, height full. So it's going to the full height. Z is 50. Z index Z50. What if we do Z0? Z100. Basically, it's not doing anything. It's shadowing and padding 3. What if we don't do shadow? The shadow box shadow. Shadow, for example, extra small. Oh, it's not doing anything. P3 is a padding tree, which we can see there is a padding. And also we have a navigation menu in this animated div. And it's not closing because in the mask transition, which will be gray, there is a on click and set show menu false. So it's not closing when you click because we don't have the background. But I have an idea, so we can just uncomment this, uncomment this one, and in the mask transition, instead we can do background white, but or just without background, fixed. See, now it's closing because we have background which is invisible. We have invisible background without the background color. So basically it doesn't matter. If we do absolute, from tab 0, tab left, width full. Basically the width full, height full is important. And the rest, not so much. Because it needs to be the entire screen. And it's animated div. Yeah, I mean, kind of it has to be animated because here we have a transition map item, item key props, item, and animated div key equals key, style equals props, and then we can type our stuff in here, which is class name. So we pass CSS here, and on click set show menu false. Okay. So I think this is explained well, and you should understand how this works. We also have the navigation menu, which is the content of the menu. So if we go to the navigation menu JS, it's really simple. We have just React from React. We have a link because those are links. Very straightforward. And we have a function navigation menu which takes some props. We have a return statement which has a one div because everything in React needs to be in one element. Then we have a div class name, font bold, padding y3, which is padding at the top or and bottom. And then we have an app name. And then we have unsorted list, which has two list items, which are links. This is a link to the home page. And it has a style text blue 500, padding y, border top, border bottom. It has a border at top, border at bottom, and it needs to be a black. What's black? What's the black? I mean, display in black. Okay, displaying in black. Flow root. It can be inline black. It can be inline. It can be flex. It can be inline flex. It can be grid. It can be inline grid. It can be a contents. Okay, so black. But let's play with it. So inline black. Inline black. It's not really changing. It's not really changing. Border. Grid. Table grid. Inline. This is inline. But I think block will be better in this idea. Okay, so on click this link, we also have props close menu. Because navigation menu when we even use navigation menu is a function, takes nothing, you state. Animated. Oh, here we have it, navigation menu. And then we have a close menu, set show menu false, close menu. So this is the prop, close menu, set show menu false. Props close menu. Set show menu. I don't really understand how does it work. Props close menu. So we are using a method close menu from the props. Okay, I understand, because set show menu is a function that's setting show menu. So the use state is the initial false show menu, and if we have a set show menu false, then this is the prop to this function, which on click uses props close menu. And close menu is a method in the props. On click props close menu. From the props we take this function, which is a lambda function, which is using, so on click basically we are setting the show menu to false. Which is the same as if we click on any point at the website. It's setting on click the show menu to false. So basically, if we click anywhere in the menu, it's closing the menu and going to the website. Because if we don't do this, save this file, if we click on the home page, it's not working. Because on click we have to close the menu. I think I messed up something. It's not working. I think there is a problem with there was a problem with the background. Is it? So it has to be fixed. The background mask transitions needs to be fixed because otherwise the menu is not working. Menu transitions, I want it to be on the right side, 0.5. Now the link is working. See? But if I do absolute background, absolute, then it's still working. I have no idea what I messed up last time. No, I mean mask transitions. If I do absolute mask transition, it's still working. With full fixed. Navigation. On click props close menu class name. On click we go to the props close menu. On click we just run this method from props, which is close menu, which is this method, and this is a lambda which runs function set show menu, which set show menu false. So we just set show menu false. Use transition, mask transitions, font awesome. This is the font awesome. Oh, because I forgot. We have a transitions, but also we have a class text extra large, and we have a font awesome icon, which is icon FA bars, and on click we set show menu opposite to the show menu, which is actual. So when it's false, when you click, it's true. Font awesome icon, it's also in the package JSON. No, actually it's not. but Font Awesome icon needs to be installed. Font Awesome icon, Font Awesome React. Basically, programming is a battle. How to install Font Awesome? npm install save yarn add font awesome free solid VSG icons. FA bars. FA bar install. Okay, so that's the installation. npm install this, and then we have, for example, import something FA camera from Fort awesome free SG FG FA camera. If we change it to camera, then we have a camera sign. See, FA camera. Pretty solid. I just want to see what kind of items do they have. Do they have many cool items? FA camera. So basically I have this, which is this one camera. So if I do it lowercase, will it work when it's lowercase? No, it has to be uppercase. Camera retro. If I do camera retro, FA camera. Oh, there are many. FA car alt, FA chess rook. Let's do FA chess rook, for example. And we have a rook. Cool. FA. So it's like font awesome chess rook. Add, align justify. What about bars? Yeah, bars. FA bars, FA bars, which is here, FA bars, and we have a bar. Bars, bars, bars. We can have bars like this. Okay. I think the menu now it's explained. Okay, so I've explained the header, navigation menu and also the footer. So now I would like to explain the main page, which is located in the main app.js. So we had the header in our router, main router. We had our footer, and now we have a div with class name padding3. We have a padding here, and we have a switch of routes. The exact path is home, which is a home page, which is a view home. We have about, which is about JS in the views, and also we have a route which has a path products and then ID product. So let's start with about because it's the simplest version of our views. About page is import React from React, function about which is a function that returns a div. Let's go to the about. It's a style class name. Its style is font bold text to extra large about us and also paragraph. This is the page content. Very simple, and export default like this. Then we are importing about from current views about, which is here, current views about. Okay, now let's go to the home page, route exact path, current home page, which is this is a little bit more complicated. So here we're using React, we're using loader, which I will explain later. So first we're using Axios. Axios is for getting URLs from, for example, Mog APIs. So you will have to create your database in Mog API, and then you will have your own JSON, and then you will have to install JSON parser. So instead of this, you can see it like this. And when your database is generated, you will have product ID created now, name, descriptions, prices, images, IDs, product ID of that image, etc. So you can just copy this or create your own Mog API or create your own database with the same sets of data, and then we get the value of ID, which is a function from use params from React Router DOM. And let me explain this. Use params is the React Router to describe dynamic segments of the URL. So dynamic segments of this URL is obviously ID. So we create constant ID, and we get the value of this ID, because if I go to the products, the ID is at the end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have different products, right? So this is our URL with ID and stuff. So basically we are getting this information. This is our URL, and Axios is just getting everything from this and saving it to variable let. And this Axios get is actually in our hooks, which is Axios get, it's from the upper directory, because we are in the product, so we have to go one up and then into hooks and into HTTP requests, which is this file. And with the use Axios get is using props URL, see, and its export function. So we are exporting this function use Axios get, and we have a table of request. So this variable request and a function that's changing this variable request, and we are using state. So at the beginning, the request will have a loading boolean data any error boolean, and the error will be false. At the start, loading will be false and data will be nothing at the beginning, right? Then let's go back here. So our product is basically an object with loading boolean data any and error boolean. So content actually is a variable. So if we have a product error, then we just display the content equals to that div, which is a set of two divs, which is just text. If product is loading, then content equals to loader, and loader actually is that animation which we have, that wheel. So loader is class div class name loader, export default flex, justify center class name. Class name loader. And what if I delete this? See, then we don't have that wheel spinning. If I save it, we have it. And to get this, we had to change index CSS, and we had to add the loader. See, we have a loader here in the index CSS. So the class name of this is loader because this is a class. That loader is, so it has WebKit animation spin for 2 seconds, linear infinite animation spin 2 seconds. So we can increase the size, for example, like this, then it's a lot bigger. But it has a border, so now it's a little bit bigger. But we don't want the animation to be this big, so we just but what if I delete this? Because this is only for Safari. Spinning 4 seconds. Let's do 4 seconds and what now? I don't know. The loader seems like it's not responding to my changes. Border of loader. I want It's not responding. Ah, I know what. Because if I want to save the CSS, I will have to reload the application again. I will have to reload, so yarn start. And now it should be red. We have a yarn build CSS and yarn script React script start. So what we have is in the package JSON, we have in the scripts, we have on the start, which is yarn start, we initialize this yarn build CSS and React scripts both. It should start in any seconds, and the loading spin should be red, but the file wasn't saved, so I don't know. We'll see. Something is already running at this port, maybe Mog API. Local serve localhost 3001. Mm, mm, I think the bars is completed, opacity is completed. So it's working, and the loading is red. So changing anything and seeing the result is a little bit longer than with the JS. Okay, basically what I was explaining is the homepage. So if the product is loading, we have a loader, and if we have any data in the products which is taken from here, data map, so the content will be a new table which is a div, and the key is product ID, so we take the 4, class name is flexible, no shrinking with full product ID. What is this? Products data map, and then we take product card. The window is too small for me. So we have a link to products ID. Wait a second. In the product, we have a product name. I wanted to explain this. Product data name, product. Why we have a product card? Where was it even? Product products product card link, product card. where I was. I don't even remember where I was 1 minute ago. So, but if we have a product data, then content equals to this div. We have a h1 product data name, so we take it from the name, generic fish, for example, then another div, which is image source, product data image is 0, image URL, and then we have price, dollar product data price, and then product description. And then we return the content. Container mix auto content. Export default product. So we are returning the content. Content product. Okay. Product card. Also it's in the home JS. Because we have a product, this is a single product which has a changing ID. And in the home page, we have many products. So if we have the data, then the content is creating new array in the data, which is key, product ID, and what if we create something like this? Parte. And then we have a product card. Product is product card. The key is product ID. Key is a product ID. And product card. In the product card, you have a product which equals to product, and product. So we take a product which equals to product. Product card, we have a from props we take product.id link to style props. We have a link and then another div which is h3 link to product name, price, props, product price, props, product description, link to products ID, and then we have a link. So this is the link. This is the link view. This is the description. This is the price. This is image with a link. But why there is best sellers? Here. So we return bestsellers, which is h1, and then div which has content. The content is array which returns key equals product ID. What if I delete this? It's still working. Maybe that key isn't important because I don't know what does it do. And then in the product card we take product card. So product ID link to have a price description, and then this is a view because in the single product we don't have anything. In the home page we have a product card. The product card, this is a product card. So we are mapping through the entire array and creating new array, map.js. So it's creating a new table for each element of the table. So products data will return product card. So it will create for each element, it will create something like this for each one. And from the props we take products and then ID. So we take the product and then ID. From the props we get product and then ID. Product ID props, product images. So basically this product is the entire array of every single object in this JSON, and then from that entire array we take a product which has ID. Okay, now I understand. Better. Flex no shrink with full ND, and we have a product which is product card. And then content. About product, home product. Okay, so here we are using effect, use effect. What is use effect? What is use effect? So we can use the state and other functionalities of React without using classes. Import React, use state, use effect. Axios get, this is a promise. If we get the URL, then the response is equals to set request to response. From the response, data error false. If we catch an error, then error true, data null, loading false. So first loading is true, data null, then data response data. And also URL, which is a table. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I think you learned something. I mean, it's really complicated as for a beginner, and there was a lot of confusion, and I'm sorry for this. I hope that you learned